First, I want to wish all you guys happy Chinese New Year. BYD could be in some deep waters, guys. So what's going on here in China? Apparently, right now it's going viral in social media here in China that BYD's debt is exposed, apparently. Okay? And it's brought to the public's attention about this Bloomberg article from GMT claiming that BYD's supply chain financing masks ballooning debt and up to $44 billion. You guys can go check out the article, of course, but this, of course, is now starting to gain traction here in China. And people are talking about this. Of course, they're not directly mentioning BYD by its name, okay? Because then the video gets flagged and it gets taken down. So they're just saying something D, all right? But you know it's BYD, and that's what they're talking about. So this has gone into the public's attention. Everybody's talking about this. They're pretty surprised by this. And of course, quite recently, if you guys didn't know, BYD's Dolphin sales have been dropping like a rock. Now, BYD Dolphin is their cheapest mini EV sort of, and that sales of that car has been dropping. It's been taken, market share has been taken by competitors, and you could also argue that potentially NIO's Firefly brand, the Firefly car, could have an impact on this as well. That's maybe why people aren't buying the BYD Dolphin. But regardless, this is very interesting because people are becoming more aware of things like this, okay? And so it is claiming that the biggest producer of electric vehicles last year was at a high accounting risk, okay? And they wrote that a fair estimate of net debt is about 209% of equity, which is quite shocking. And then it's taking them about a year to pay suppliers. So basically, they're selling cars and they're not paying the suppliers for over a year. Apparently, that's what the article alleges. And then they're, of course, you know, the duration of time between when they sell the car and when they pay suppliers, that's basically interest-free loan, essentially. And they have that money and they can use it for other purposes. And you know, they don't really settle until 1 year later, whereas the industry average is apparently only like 51 days. Okay, so usually it's 51 days to pay suppliers, but for them, apparently it's a year, according to the article. Okay, so people are very intrigued by this, and does it impact sales? It could impact sales going forward. We do know for a fact that BYD's own figures of debt were $3.78 billion US, whereas GMT alleges that their actual debt is closer to $44.1 billion. And this is, of course, because of the delayed in payments and all that kind of stuff. And BYD really recently has been, you know, sort of becoming the Toyota of China, right? The cars are just very cheap and it gets you from A to B, and it does the job basically. And quite recently they've been selling well because the design of the cars have been pretty nice, and then the functions of the car have been pretty decent, and people have been liking their cars, and that's attributed to their rise in sales. And it's mostly the cost effectiveness of the car, the cheapness of the car. Now, the BYD Han that I'm sitting in this video has been a tremendous seller for BYD for many years, and it's been always selling really well along with their Chin model. The Chin has been like basically a taxi. It's replaced the Toyota Corolla, and some can argue that BYD has been the reason why Japanese brands like Nissan have pretty much exited China. Brands like Toyota and Honda, they're not doing too well because their customer base are now buying BYD. Now, where things can all go south, and this is my personal opinion, well, suppliers are very confident in the success of BYD, and that's partially why they're willing to accept a longer payment period. But if sales start to decline and they have oversupply, and not enough demand because of competitors coming in with better cars, etc., then you might have a situation where they're not producing as many cars, they're not selling as many cars, and that missed payment, or I guess the outstanding payment, becomes a big pain in the butt and really bites them. So apparently, the extended payment terms BYD employs averages about 275 days to pay suppliers in 2023, which are significantly beyond the industry norms seen globally at 51 days for American companies and 45 to 60 days for the industry average. And this is, of course, good for BYD's cash reserve, but now it's gotten exposed that maybe some of that cash is actually, outstanding payments that need to be paid. And, there could be bigger implications for investors in general. The financing strategies that they used are kind of obscure, and if something were to happen, they may face pressure to provide cash, and that could be bad for investors and investor confidence. Now, how does NIO fit into this? Well, NIO has always been a champion of supply chain management, and NIO CEO has, in the past, sat down with their suppliers, set long-term targets, even jointly develop things together and work on promoting, long-term goals, long-term targets. And with that, they're able to really optimize their prices. And for example, they've been able to reduce the BOM cost, bill of materials cost, by quite a lot in the past few years because of the higher delivery volume. So higher delivery volume helps them negotiate lower prices for the supply chain, and they're able to do that. And of course, they're able to set their own terms about how long they want to pay their suppliers. And with that, they're also able to improve margins. So some of the margin improvement that you've been seeing over the past few years, the past year or so, has been thanks to the management carefully negotiating these better terms with suppliers, etc. So definitely this is a tactic that everybody uses, essentially. But here with BYD's case, it seems like they're kind of abusing it, right? They're kind of making it way too long. They're extending it to 275 days to 1 year, which is kind of excessive. So this has gone viral here in China. Everybody's talking about this, which is quite interesting. We'll be looking forward to seeing how sales get impacted by this. Will it get impacted by this? Will people be more cautious about buying a BYD car, or will they not care? Right? And obviously GMT, these guys, they are short sellers. They're a short seller hedge fund, and clearly they've targeted BYD as their next short position. So keep that in mind. Okay. Personally, I do not have any shorts in BYD. I do not invest in BYD. I only invested in NIO. Okay. So take that with a grain of salt. They are purposefully trying to expose this, whether there's truth to it or not. It's just what it's being reported and what's going on viral here in China. Okay, so I'm just reporting the news to you guys. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.